So the CPI came in almost exactly as expected, no surprises. The index for all items less food and energy rose 4% over the last 12 months. The shelter index increased 6.5% over the last year, accounting for nearly 70% of the total increase. I continue to wonder how this is possible given the other data that we have. And also, I'd love to see the 6-month data on this, but I can't find it anywhere. Somebody is publishing that. If you know where, could you put in the comments below the 6-month data? Even Fed Chairman Powell has talked about the 6-month data before. In the all items less food and energy index, the other indexes with notable increases over the last year include motor vehicle insurance, up 19%. This will not continue to be an issue going forward, as insurance rates are likely to actually start coming down again now that the cost of repairs and whatnot that were higher because of part shortages will start to come back to normal. Recreation up 2.5%. That's not terribly bad. Personal care continuing to be high, up 5.2%. And new vehicles, I don't know, new vehicles are up 1.3%. Is that a month over? That must be that has to be a year-over-year number. That's not that much. Anyway, 30-year bonds are falling after the report, signaling that the market believes the Fed will not increase and will continue on a course of eventually decreasing in the first half of 2024. This is the first leg that I've been talking about of the three-legged stool this week that should keep the bull alive. Now we need the producer prices to be similarly in line tomorrow morning or better. A beat would be even better. And for the Fed to sound neutral or slightly dovish. The Fed's favorite price guide doesn't come until later the week between Christmas and New Year. So we got 2 weeks to go before we hear that. So the market activity for the next 2 weeks is going to be largely driven by these three legs of that three-legged stool. Okay. This is Randy Kirk. Please hit like, please hit subscribe, hit notify. We got Brian White back today around noon. He has some outstanding information with regard to each factory's capacity in 2024, much higher than I expected. This is really, really good news and means that Tesla has a huge potential. You heard from Larry last night talking, if you watched last night, Larry talking about his numbers, Gary Black, all coming in at around 2.5 million vehicles, 2.4 million vehicles for next year, which is way higher than the 2.2 that the street is expecting. So, but having said, oh, and by the way, don't forget, you need to buy this Cybertruck is the one that is really critical that you buy. Christmas is now, what are we now down to? 13 days till Christmas. It is time to place your orders. Lots of orders yesterday. Keep them coming. I've got tons. I bought up a bunch to make sure that I get them to you on time. I'll put all the information below in the description so that you know exactly what the price will be, depending on how many you're going to buy. All right. We've got, Tesla's off this morning compared to the other indexes and the Mag 7. I mean, it's down, like last time I looked, down $5. There's some minor stories that might be impacting, and I'll talk about those, but not really that serious. Let me know in the comments if there's something I missed here. So let's start with the first one. We have the numbers out of China overnight. 14,800 Teslas were insured in China last week. This will be a little lower than expected and might weigh a little bit on the stock price today. On the other side, I saw pictures of the shipyards over in China, and there's a ton of Teslas sitting there ready to get on ships. Could be that we're going to be seeing quite a large number of Teslas in transit, even at the end of the year. But that should be something that people can figure out in their pea brains. Anyway, on the other hand, the news around Tesla, the rest of the news around Tesla has been good. So being slightly off of the 14,800 Teslas, I don't think so. And if we hit 1.8 million, that's what the street is going to care about. If we hit 1.79999999, I don't think, anyway, all right, you get me. All right, the Kiplinger letter said today, they have this wild theory, and they're matched by Market Watch, which I'll talk about in a minute. The Kiplinger letter said that traditional pickup drivers will not be won over by the Cybertruck. Now, by traditional, are they referring to farmers, construction workers, things like that? Well, first of all, I think they're wrong. I think there'll be lots of those folks that will be buying the truck, but only about 30% of the truck market or less is made up from folks in this group. Most of it is folks that might have bought an SUV for, except they like the look of a truck. Anyway, Market Watch goes a little deeper. They think that the one thing that the Cybertruck doesn't have is variety. The Cybertruck is essentially one spec, but with a few variations impacting range of performance, like rear-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, and different battery capacities. And they say variety is the spice of life, and that's why traditional truck drivers aren't going to buy it. It's because they don't have different cab sizes and different looks and styles. Well, there's a few people that are going to be in that category, but they go on to say that by comparison, the Ford F-Series has 10 engine choices, yay, with output ranging from 3.0-liter to the 700 turbocharged 5.2 V8. Throw in a hybrid V6 and a power stroke turbo diesel in the mix as well. On top of engine choices, Ford has 3 cab configurations, 3 bed configurations, and the option of rear wheel, 4-wheel, or all-wheel drive, et cetera, et cetera. So I guess they haven't paid any attention to the success at Costco. You want ketchup? This is the brand. Okay. Anyway, maybe they haven't paid any attention to the fact that the number 1 and 2 selling cars in the world that are pretty close. The number 1 selling car in the world and the number 2 selling car of any kind, including trucks in the United States, is the Model Y, and the Model 3 is doing really well too with limited choice. Anyway. Well, I'll come back. Let's see if I can find it here. I wanted to go to the other negative. Oh yeah. So the Washington Post, no friend of Tesla, did a hit piece on the FSD. Tesla actually responded this time in detail with a serious analysis of the falsity of the article. The Washington Post was saying that the FSD should be limited geographically. It shouldn't be allowed to go on certain roads. It shouldn't be allowed to go in certain geographies. Tesla responded by saying, look, the Tesla FSD, if driven appropriately by somebody who's paying attention, is the safest car in the world right now. And it's safer, its full self-driver is safer than the automated driving on the Tesla, and which is safer than not having any automation at all. They go into great detail. Tesla Roddy did a great job of analyzing that or taking that stuff and reporting it. I will leave a link to that if you'd like to look at all that detail. But as you can see, you've got 3 of little articles with little negative things going on here. For if you count 2 articles about the Cybertruck not being good enough for construction workers, I think that is not why the stock is down. If you have some reason why the Tesla stock would be down $5 this morning, where the rest of the market is kind of neutral, I'd love to hear what that would be. Put that in the comments below. Kevin Muir explains, okay, so I have this theory that we're going in this rotation in asset choices, in particular out of the Mag 7 and out of the NASDAQ and out of tech stocks and into the Dow, maybe into the Russell, etc. Well, here's another theory that might be explaining what's been going on the last 2 weeks, because I don't want you to think I don't see this other. Anyway, no, this guy could be right. Kevin Muir explains the NASDAQ over the weekend announced final changes for its NASDAQ 100 rebalance. Oh, we've been here before. Remember the S&P rebalance that threw the market into tizzy? I don't know, what was that, 7 or 8 months ago? This is a reconstitution that will kick in on Friday's option expiration. The committee had recently flagged the Magnificent Seven Group's heavy concentration and its methods of dealing with that, says Muir. Rebalancing by index committee is done quarterly to limit the influence of the biggest companies, but the NASDAQ did a special rebalancing this summer. Those company weights are capped, the Magnificent Seven are capped at 20% of the index, and if they exceed 24%, with the combined weight of those exceeding 4.5 capped at 40%, et cetera, et cetera. If it exceeds 48%, anyway, it goes on and on. So that rebalancing happens this Friday. It was announced over the weekend. People might have been anticipating the rebalancing. I don't know. I still think there's a rotation taking place, but that will take us probably at least another couple of weeks of seeing that same evidence in order for us to know that that is what's going on. All right, here's one from Quartz. This is from the Are You Kidding Me department. Starbucks has officially opened electric vehicle charging stations at 15 locations on the 1,000-mile stretch between Denver, Colorado, and Seattle, Washington, as part of its partnership with Swedish automaker Volvo. The 50 Volvo charging stations at Starbucks stores in Colorado, Utah, et cetera, will charge any electric car with a CCS1 connector. What? Is Volvo, and I mean, I respect Volvo. This is crazy. And then Starbucks? I don't respect Starbucks that much, but oh my gosh, why would they be putting in those chargers now? I can't figure it out. Okay, let's take a look at where the markets are right now after that craziness. All right, well, Tesla is coming back. It's only down $4.49 now. The rest of the Magnificent Seven, except, well, NVIDIA is bouncing back from being so far down, and the rest of them are down a little bit. We've got the NASDAQ down and the Dow up, which has been common, but the S&P is also down. Very, very interesting. Okay, so the Dow is down 7, NASDAQ down 15, S&P down 6. As I said, Tesla's down $4.46. Let's see what the Cathie Woods are doing. The Cathie Woods are mostly down. Interesting. I would think they'd be up. We'll have to see what's happening with the bonds. Maybe the bonds have started to go back up again. I don't know. We'll see in a second. Anyway, let's do it in percentages. We have the Dow down 0.02%. The NASDAQ up. Dow is up 0.02%. Whatever. It's almost even. NASDAQ is down 0.1. S&P down 0.15, and Tesla is down 1.68%. The rest of the Magnificent Seven, less than that when they are down, and some of them are down this morning. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the bonds real quick here. We have the, whoops, okay, sorry for fumbling around. We have got the bonds right now coming in. They're down less than a half a basis point. So they're down for the 10 years down, not very much. It was down more earlier. We got the 2-month unchanged, and we've got the 2-year up, basically unchanged. So basically, the bonds have gone flat-ish. In fact, at this point, almost 100% flat. The 10-year is only 0.002, okay, down this morning. So it's basically all unchanged, no movement at all for the bonds after that print. Let's look at, we've got oil is down heavy, down $2.25 at $69.07. Kind of as we've been predicting, the natural gas continues to be slammed down another 2.67% this morning. We've got gold back, still sitting under 2,000, but up a little bit this morning. Copper continuing down. We've got the dollar holding on to, it's right about where it's been. And we've got Bitcoin recovering somewhat to 41,384. So there you have it. An interesting morning so far today. I cannot explain the Tesla, though. Again, looking for you maybe to help me out on that explanation, as it is continuing to come back from being down so much, but still down more than the rest. Okay, so hit like. This is that time. If you didn't do it earlier, please hit the like button. Please hit subscribe. Please hit notify so that you can be reminded about the later today. Later today is more Brian at the noon hour, and then I am all by myself still on Tuesday nights. I don't have a co-host yet. I've put out a few feelers, but so far, nobody seems to want that spot. I don't get it. Anyway, and then please join Patreon at the $5 or the $10 level. Haven't had very many people joining Patreon this month, so it'd be great to have a few new ones. And of course, you get one of these free if you join at the $10 level. So that'd be great. And then, but have had tremendous sales, outstanding yesterday, super duper sales day after day of the Cybertruck bottle opener. Of course, you've seen it now over and over. Sandy Monroe, gave one to Elon. He also had used one in his demonstration of the magnetism of the actual truck to talk about the different kinds of stainless steel. So, he's a big fan of the bottle opener. You should be too. All your friends will be tickled to get this for Christmas, your family members, etc. One for one, here we go. 1 for 25, 2 for 45, 3 for 65, etc. All that information is below. Please remember to let me know camo or stainless. And then if you're outside the United States, zip code area, please hit me with an extra $20 because that's what it's going to cost to send it outside of the US. All right. Yeah, we always do the one more time, don't we, on the Tesla? See if it is continuing to, yes, it is continuing to bounce back. So maybe this was a whale play. Maybe there was some major group or person who sold off this morning. That would explain it, because I just don't see anything else that is explaining it in any of the news. In fact, everything is bouncing back right now. The NASDAQ is back to zero. The Dow Jones is, this is crazy. The Dow and the NASDAQ are both exactly at 0%. Is that funny? The Dow just went down a little. So the Dow is coming down while the NASDAQ is coming back up. What a wild morning. And Tesla is now moving up fairly nicely. Well, we'll see what happens. Join me tonight at around 4:35 o'clock. We'll give you an update on what took place during the day. Hey, it's been great talking to you.